So first of all, a massive congratulations is in order because you completed one whole first brilliant week of this transformation. So congratulations for getting through your first week. Now, your nutrition for last week was to eat slowly and to 80% full. Now, a lot of people will just skip over this and completely ignore it, thinking there is no actual nutrition for week 1. But this is an incredibly important aspect of your nutrition experience and your nutrition knowledge when it comes to yourself. If you don't understand your own food process, then you'll never know that you can actually change it, okay? So I really want you to reflect on the past week, eating slowly and eating until 80% full. Can you tell now when you are 80% full? And how was that experience for you? Because I will tell you the most important thing that you need to take from this transformation. Reflecting on how you have done, whether it is great in your eyes or whether it was very challenging, is really important, because it is very easy to slip right back into what you have always done instead of learning new things and adopting new habits. So if you're not aware of what your habits currently are and why you are eating in the way that you do, what your food process essentially is, then you won't know what you are changing and what you are adopting and what to hold on to and what to simply let go of. So this week I want to talk about your workouts in a little bit of a different way. Now, you have gone through the belly training with me and the breathing, right? I want you to really make sure as we go through these next workouts over the next week that you are really incorporating the breath into all of your workouts, because you now know that by breathing from your diaphragm, you're going to be activating the right muscles. So I want you going through and doing your squats, working your glutes, instead of just giving you some knee trouble and stuff. Okay, so make sure that you are doing each exercise with the breath and that the breath is filling your belly every single time. Next, now that you've been working out for a week, I want you to really push your workouts, okay? You're not a newbie anymore. You are certainly able to push these workouts. So if I, for example, have given you a rep range of 10, so you're supposed to do a certain exercise 10 times, by about 8 times, I want you to be very tired, okay? If you are not, so I suggest adding weights, so using the more advanced version of the exercise or slowing down an exercise. So for example, lowering into your squat for a long period of time, maybe 3 seconds before coming up, or alternatively, just making sure you are doing the exercise at a more advanced level. Therefore, what I mean is, if you're squatting, for example, that you're squatting all the way to the ground and up, instead of maybe just that half squat that you felt comfortable with at the beginning of last week. We always want to be challenging our body. The moment that you feel really comfortable with an exercise, you gotta give your body something more so that it wants to change, okay? If you don't ever push the limit, your body simply will not change because you're not giving it a reason to. The next thing that I want you to think about this week while you're working out is that you are literally designing your body. So if you are squatting, I want you to literally picture your butt forming the way that you want it to. When you are doing a push-up, that your arms are looking the way that you want them to. Do not underestimate the power of your mind when it comes to building and designing your body. The more that you have that mind-body connection, the quicker and faster the body that you want to design will become your reality. Okay, for our nutrition this week, we are going to be eating according to our hand. So last week you practiced eating slowly and until 80% full. This week we are going to literally see if we can, with each meal, adhere to 1 palm of protein, 1 or 2 fists of vegetables, and 1 thumb of fat, okay? And you can just half that for snacks. So that would be 3 meals and 2 snacks, eating according to your hand, okay? And I'm going to give you a handout that breaks down a whole bunch of foods that are proteins, that are carbs, and that are fats. So you have those lists. and you'll be able to tell which ones to pull from to make sure you're eating your hand for every single meal. So have a look at the lists of the different foods that I have given you. Pick the ones that you want and shop for them, okay? When we are grocery shopping, I'm sure you've all heard of this before, but I want you to try and stay as much as possible on the outer rim of the grocery store. Most of the stuff that's on the inside rows and aisles is all very processed, okay? So we're gonna stay on the outside where you're gonna find the vegetables, the fruits, the fresh stuff, the meats, the dairy, and then often the frozen vegetables and stuff on the opposite end. So that is how you're gonna approach your grocery shopping. Have a look, know exactly what it is that you want before you go and get those items. Now I want to give you a little bit of a breakdown about some of the habits that we are beginning to think about and consider as we move through this transformation and why they're so important. So I just said that we should be having about 5 meals, which is 3 big meals and 2 snacks, okay? So that means that we're eating about once every 2 to 3 hours. And the reason that this is so important is that you're going to have an improved body composition if you do this. Therefore, that means less body fat, more lean tissue, more energy, and basically better overall health. Why? Because you're getting enough food in to keep your body supported, but because you're eating that much, you're also getting more nutrients than you may have necessarily gotten if you're skipping meals. Now, we also want to be eating protein, so a palm of protein with every single meal. This is another amazing habit to have. And why we do this is because it allows you to hit your protein goals for the day, right? We need a certain amount of protein in order to build the tissues or anything within our body that we require. So it's the raw materials. We need to hit a certain amount every single day. So making sure that we get protein in with every single meal helps contribute to that. It also is going to give you more energy because it doesn't spike your blood sugar like eating carbs and sugar does, as well as boost your metabolism. The reason this happens is because it takes more calories just to digest protein than it does either carbs or fats. This week we're also going to talk about getting rid of all the crap that's in your kitchen. So basically all the processed stuff that you might have hanging around in your kitchen, just completely getting rid of it and replacing it with whole foods. This is particularly important when we're talking about carbs, right? So most people will have cupboards that are filled with pastas and rice and cereal and crackers. What we want to do is begin to shift away from those things and only have whole grains, or you completely move away from grains altogether and have sweet potatoes, things like that are whole foods that are very minimally processed instead of having processed stuff in lots of boxes in our cupboards. The next really great habit is to have that thumb of fat with every single meal. Now, the reason that we want to have a variety of healthy fats is because it does a really great job of balancing our hormones. So if you're only getting one type of fat all the time, maybe from a vegetable oil, which is quite typical with most of our diets these days, you're not allowing yourself the balance of all 3 types of fats, which is ultimately going to help you to balance your hormones, fight inflammation, so if you have any pain or inflammation within your body, and also boost your immune system. So anybody who has little kids constantly bringing in colds and different little viruses, this is a great way to help boost your immunity. The reason we want to get so many vegetables, and that vegetables are a great habit to incorporate every single day, is that first of all, when you start to eat that many vegetables at every single meal, you want to get a variety. And with variety means you're getting different nutrients than you ever would have gotten before, okay? So your nutritional profile goes through the roof simply by adding more vegetables. The second great thing about that is that it's more fiber, so it helps you to clear out, which helps ultimately for you to lose weight and have a better body composition. The last thing that I want to tell you is that if you are naturally slim, so slim arms, slim legs, then you can typically have some more carbs throughout the day. So that handful of carbs that I talked about in the very beginning, you'll notice I didn't mention it this week when we're talking about eating our hand, okay? If you are naturally thin, however, you can incorporate a handful of carbs every now and then. Because your body has a tendency to like it more, you can actually deal with sugar better, okay? So that's fruit, that's sweet potatoes, starchy vegetables, and things like that. And of course, if you want to eat some whole grains, then go ahead and do that too. Now, if you are naturally thicker, or muscular like me, or have an ability to put on either fat or muscle very easily, then I want you to consider only keeping that cup full of carbs until after your workout. Now, this is not something we're specifically trying to look for and adhere this week. It's something I just want you to be considering depending on your body type. Okay, when it comes to your mindset this week, I really want you to wake up every day, take a moment, breathe into your belly so you become ultimately de-stressed to start off your day. Because when you go into things with a sunny disposition, you're trying to find the best out of everything, right? So if you wake up and the kids are chaotic and everything's crazy and you're trying to get everybody out the door and all you're feeling is the stress of the day, everything is going to snowball into this very stressful, chaotic sort of day. If you wake up, take a moment, breathe, center yourself, and go into your day with that sunnier disposition, then you allow yourself the time mentally to focus and prep for your day. When you have a positive outlook, you begin to form a template about how to handle any situation. Let me explain what I mean by that. Anytime you need to learn something new, it's always a little bit difficult, right? But if you go into it with a positive attitude, then you're really going to be able to piece this new challenge together in a positive and empowering way. If you go into it with a negative sort of feeling about it, and that's going to be too much and too overwhelming and too hard, then every time you encounter that particular situation, that's the thought pattern and the learning pattern that you've put into place. So what you want to do when you encounter these new situations is try it from a positive attitude. Therefore, each time, consequently, when you encounter something that is similar to that, you will have already set this positive, happy template for how you're going to deal with it. This is a way to give yourself a sense of control, right? Because then when these situations pop up, as they inevitably will, you have this very positive template and strategy for dealing with it. The last thing that I'm going to encourage you to do this week, and as always, is to really reflect on gratitude, okay? Gratitude for your strength, gratitude for your resilience, gratitude for your self-love, for getting this far. Just even thinking about what am I grateful for today literally changes the chemistry of your brain. So go into every day with gratitude and go to bed every day with gratitude. So here's this week's big bonus. You've gone through 1 week and it might have seemed like it was kind of fun and really exciting. And now when you're into week 2, you might be noticing people saying stuff, or people have opinions, or people noticing you trying to make change. And it might feel a little weird, or you might feel like you're coming up against some resistance or some friction, okay? So what I want you to do this week is unapologetically make what you are doing right now your new normal. So if somebody asks you to go out for a drink, or if somebody needs some of your time, why don't you ask them instead if you can go and do something active, right? Why don't you go for a walk? Why don't you go for a hike instead of maybe just sitting down and doing what you always do? So this is your challenge this week, is to try and engage some of the people that you are constantly hanging around with or who are in your life into doing some more active things. And as you know, when you have children, this is a very easy thing to do.